God did not create man to function in isolation. When you read Revelation chapter 4, verse 4, it tells us that even in the throne room of God where he is seated, he is surrounded by 24 elders. And you see, God created man in his own image. So if he sees the need to surround himself with 24 elders and not be seated alone, how much more we humans who are on earth, who are restricted, who vary in terms of strength and then weaknesses. Today, let's testify about how we are receiving our helpers with the Holy Spirit as our ultimate helper. When you read John chapter 16, the verse 14, Jesus said he will send us the Comforter who will be with us forever. When you have received the Holy Spirit who is our ultimate helper, then can you discern who your right helper should be. Reading from Genesis chapter 2, verse 18, God said, "It is not good that the man should be alone, and I will make him an helpmeet for him." And he made Adam. God raised Jonathan for David. For Daniel, he had 3 friends that he prayed with, that the mercies of God will give them the interpretation of the dream of Nebuchadnezzar. When you read Exodus chapter 7, verse 1, it tells us that God raised Aaron as a prophet for Moses and made Moses like a god unto the Egyptians. God sent Peter to the house of Cornelius that they will receive salvation and the baptism of the Holy Spirit. The same way God sent Ananias to Saul or Paul so that he will be healed and then also receive the baptism of the Holy Spirit. But the interesting thing is that when you take, for instance, Jesus, who chose the 12 disciples, before he started choosing the disciples, he had to receive the baptism of the Holy Spirit when he was baptized at the Jordan River. The Holy Spirit is the ultimate helper that will lead us in all things, that will guide us in all things. And not even all helpers are meant to continue with us forever. It is important that we yield to our ultimate helper so that he will help us to know when the seasons of those people that God raised to help us has come to an end, when it's time for us to move on onto another level, when it's time to embrace new helpers, and most importantly, to discern who we should take counsel from, or to discern who we should receive help from. Not everybody meeting your need is supposed to be a helper, or not everybody that is meeting your need is a helper from God. It is so imperative that we first learn to yield and receive from the Holy Spirit, who is our ultimate helper, and build on that to discern the men that God has sent to be our helper. Meditate further on this. How are you embracing the help of the Holy Spirit in all angles of your life? And how are you receiving the people that God has sent your way to be helpers? God bless you and see you another day.